Greetings fellow Python enthusiasts. A big and warm welcome to the exhilarating world of code as we gather for our first workshop. Unleash the power of Python, automated testing for units, functions and APIs by Dr. Shailendra Pratap Singh. In an era where technology's heartbeat resonates through every line of code, ensuring the reliability and robustness of your creations has never been more crucial. Manual testing might sound as ancient as debugging with smoke signals, but fear not. We're here to zap that testing tedium with a bolt of automation lightning.
Greetings everybody. Today we are honored to have Dr. Shailendra Pratap Singh to walk us through this workshop. He is an enigmatic professional with 20 plus years of experience, head of quality assurance at Conf, dedicated to driving excellence in software quality and automation. He holds a master's degree in computer applications and has served as quality head, QA department head and automation architect. Not just that, he has contributed to shaping quality standards at Rakuten, Xavier, Oracle and Windows.
This isn't just about passive learning, it's also about active participation. So let's get ready to embrace a new era of software testing. It's time to unleash the power of Python, automated testing for units, functions and APIs. Let us give a resounding applause to our guide on this journey, Dr. Shailendra Pratap Singh.
So let's start. What did we hear? We're going to more talk about that. What am I? What do you know that? Right? So let's start with you guys can hear me, right? So first thing is, what is the agenda of this meeting? We are going to talk about why to automate QC checks. So you will see that I have written here QC checks, not the testing. Okay, you will discuss this why you written the QC checks, not the testing later. Then I will introduce the testing framework called PyTest. That will be, I will talk about more about the PyTest, what is PyTest and how it is used. Then we will talk about something that is mainly integration testing, and then we will talk about the UI testing. So we will try to cover as much as possible in this 1 hour 20 minutes. So let's start. First question comes, why to automate QC checks? Can someone tell what is the QC checks here? What is the QC checks? Would you like to someone answer? What is the QC checks? QC checks means quality control checks, right? So when you are doing any certification of product, right? Some product being given to you and you have to certify that product that it is good enough for you to market. How you get? You have to do some quality control process there, right? So for the quality control, you have to implement some checks there. For example, suppose you are launching a web application and it is first page is login page, correct? How you will make sure this login application is working fine? You have to first try that, okay, username is accepting the username. It is not allowed to log in without giving the proper username and password, correct? If username should be, if it is email, then it should be email format. If username is incorrect, then what error it gives. So this is called checks. How you are verifying that application is working as expected, that's called checks, right? So when we talk about QC checks, then we talk about how to automate those checks, correct? And why to automate? The reason is why we have to automate this. First answer is, thing is improve the accuracy. Just assume that you have an application and in application you have a team of 5 or 6 people, right? And today one application got released, there is some work, some checks are being defined, you are testing them, you have verified and it pass or fail, right? Now, next release maybe you are not there, somebody else from your team come and try to run those checks. So it may be that checks is not written that very clearly, the scenario is not very clear, and you make it misunderstand the checks, correct? So the accuracy is going to be lost. Maybe you not understand the checks and you will make it pass or fail based on your judgment, correct? So that is why we need the automation. If the checks being automated, in that case does not matter who who have executed those checks, right? Because you just have to execute this script and it will run always as a same. It does not matter who is executing. So that's how it improves the accuracy. Speed and efficiency, right? So assume in the real world scenario, when we go for a release, you assume how many test cases we have to execute? Almost is around 10,000 test cases when you go for a release. So you can understand how tedious job it is. If you miss a single test case, you do not know what bug you are going to introduce, what you have missed. And I'm telling you an experience over here, I have seen most of the bugs come the last day of the release. Tomorrow we have the release and yesterday we have found a bug and we cannot do for release. So this happened because if you do not have the proper automation in place, because you are taking so much time to test it, correct? So efficiency get decreased. So here the automation has allowed us, because if you have 10,000 cases, 20,000 cases, it does not matter. If you have the proper automation script for them, in that case, if build is come, you can run all 20,000 cases in the daytime. Maybe if you run the penalty execution, maybe in 2 hours you have the complete summary of that test cases. You know exactly where bug is, right? So that is how it increase the speed and efficiency. Definitely the cost saving. You can assume 10,000 test case execution by the manually and executing by script. If you are manual, you need at least 20 people dedicatedly work on that using the cost. Correct? And the script, you need maybe only one person to take care that okay, script is running, and if something is not working, then you have to fix it. That's all. You need one person, 10 to 1 person, so you can achieve how much cost saving it is. Increase the test coverage. Okay, we talk about 10,000 cases, and now suppose today I have run on the I, and just the day before the new version of I is released, and my software, my developer is saying that, my manager is saying that, okay, we are also certifying this I. Do you think 10,000 cases again I can execute on new browser the one day? No. Got the point? What I'm saying? Right? So in that case, it increases the test coverage. Suppose 10,000 cases are ready, it does not matter which number of browsers you are going to execute, which platform you are going to execute. Just have to make sure the script is compatible and execute. That's all. You have all the result. Correct? So this is how it increases the coverage. Early bug detection, I will talk about that. If 10 people are there and the script is there, how early you can bug every day. Repetitive task handling. Just assume that I have given you 10 scripts for 10,000, 10 scripts being given to you, and I am asking you to, and every script has around 100 steps, and I am asking you to execute it every day. 10 scripts, only 10 scripts. Do you think after 5 days you are going to read that document what is written? You will not read it. Because you will think that I know what the test case is. You got the point, right? So you will start thinking instead of reading and verifying the real things. So it definitely repetitive tasks, what happened, it discourages people to read and understand correctly. You forget the things, and that's where the bugs come. So all the repetitive tasks, that's why it is good to have the script, because the script does not get bored. You run 10 times, 20 times in a day or month, it does not matter. It will run the same way and give the same results. That's why the automation is very much important. So, okay, so scalability, talk about documentation and reporting. Yeah. So documentation and reporting, suppose I am giving you 10 cases and you giving the report. So most of the time what happened, people give the report as per their understanding, not as per the test case of the checks being written here. Correct? So it may be, you will ask someone, okay, I think it's right, you will make it pass. Maybe it's a fail. There is some error which you are not able to understand. Because you are new in the system or you do not understand the application flow, maybe some error you are not able to judge it. Correct? So it will introduce the bug. But if it is an automation report, it will not judge. It will always, even a small change, a small ID change in the application, it will throw the error that this being changed, and you can observe that. Correct? So this is some of the reasons why we should automate the QC checks. So when we talk about the testing of an applications, then we do the checks mostly at the 3 layers. You can see the 3 layers I'm talking about. One is the unit level, second is the service level or the integration level, and third is on UI. You understand this layer, or I have to explain this one? Understand, right? The 3 layers we definitely talk about. So if you talk about the testing of them, so you see the testing of these layers are more in isolations. Unit testing is more isolated because you are testing just a function, maybe just a class, just a method. That is not isolation. It does not need any other dependency. But if you go out, the integration get more, right? It is more integration. If you talk about second layer API, maybe you are using the multiple API which are interacting each other, right? If you got the UI, it means you are doing the end-to-end testing. It has everything. Unit, integration, API, system, everything is there, right? So more integration will go as we go up, correct? But if we talk about the testing, if we talk about UI, if I give you an application, web application, and I ask you to verify, just take the login example. How much time you will take to verify the login page is working fine? Manually, you are going to verify number of conditions, right? Every step. So if you go at the UI level, the testing is slower. But if you go at the lower level, the testing is fast. Correct? So that is the reason when we talk about the automation, we leverage like this, that okay, let's automate more on the lower level and upper level should have less automation. Correct? So most of the functionality we try to put at unit level and the service level and then less automation on the UI level. That's how, or that is called test pyramid by the way. So in the testing industry or any software industry, most of the time we follow this way of testing. This model we follow. So let's start, before we start this, so you see that there are 3 layers, we have to automate those 3 layers. So to automate, what we need some framework which support us to automate these things. Correct? What a framework is, in the terms of testing framework, the framework is which gives the capability of writing the test case, executing them, capturing the reports, right, and setting the environment for your testing. Means called test bed. That is called test bed actually. How to set up the test bed, how you execute those cases, and how you assert something, expect something, and then how you assert those things, and then how you are going to report it. So this is the capability. This capability where we have, it is called a framework. So in this case, we have a framework that is called PyTest, which is of Python, right? Which help us to automate all the 3 layers. Yeah, we use the different languages, definitely more for these things. So today we talk more and more about the PyTest, and then we talk about how PyTest can help us to automate unit cases, automate integration level, and the UI layer. Right? So for that, let's install the PyTest. If you have in your system already, that's good. Otherwise, I will suggest you please install the PyTest on your system. So install the PyTest. You can install using the pip. It's a package of Python. Pip install PyTest and you install it. So you can use PyCharm if you want for this. you installed it? So, do you know what is the PyTest? PyTest is unit framework, unit testing framework, right? Which is a Python package. So it has a lot of capability. We talk about some basic here that how PyTest can help you to create a testing framework, right? And then how it can help you for unit testing, integration, and then UI testing. So after that, let's create a simple file called testmax.py. Just I want to tell you how the PyTest works. So let's do some small thing on the PyTest. You can make sure that you have installed the PyTest package here. So this is PyTest package. You can install like this, or you can install it in the pip install PyTest. It's up to you. Let's make this file here. Testmap.py. And here you find a test case. You find test 1 plus 1. Assert 1 plus 1. It's a very basic thing, right? I'm just trying to tell how the PyTest works, right? So you will see that what you have noticed here, test case starting with word test here, right? I will talk about more here about it. So let's run it for now. See the test case got passed. You can see how fast it executed and it verified. One pass, you can see how it is running. It's collected one test case, showing the test case name, the status of the test case, and how much time it took to execute. Correct? So this is how the PyTest works. So here, let's talk more here. First thing comes naming convention. So you will see here the naming convention of the test case is, and the file is test underscore, and here also test underscore. Correct? So question is it need to be like this always, or we can do something else also, or we can write any name. For example, let's write this other name here, some other file let's create, file, and I will name as a check, this other test, check maths, and right here something like check underscore 1 plus 1. Let's try to run it from another test cases. You will see it still run only one test case. Right? The only difference is here the names. Right? Only difference is here names. Here test case name, model name is test underscore, and here it is check. Okay. Here test case name is test underscore 1. Here test case name is something check underscore. So what I want to tell here, PyTest have a method which how it knows that where is the test file, how it knows that what is the test case, what to execute, what to verify. So for that it have by default test underscore. So any test file you want to include, the name should be always test underscore. Then whatever name you want to give, you can give. right? Any test case you want to write inside this, you should always start with test underscore. If you do not give this word, then test will not understand that this is a test case and it has to execute. Right? Right. Now I want to do something that, okay, I want to change. Can I change it? That I want, okay, my check.math also to execute. Is there any way? Yes, there is a way. So for this, we can override. This is coming because of the PyTest configuration, but we can override the configuration. How we can do that? We can create a file here that is pytest.ini. Right here, I can write the PyTest configurations which I want to change. Python underscore files check underscore this, right? Python underscore classes check Python underscore function. I can write like okay. So now it will not look for the test underscore. Now it will start looking for the check underscore. Right? So now if I will execute, it will execute this file instead of this file. Okay. So this is how PyTest know that which file to execute and what test case need to be executed. Okay, so this is we can try it now. Now if I will run this, now run this file.
I think PyTest there's a typo in the second line.
Typo is where? Oh. Actually, it does not matter here. Or it is class or class actually. Let's try.
Is it case sensitive?
Yeah, it is case sensitive.
The Python files it will look after the online.
Yes. Right? So now you see it is running this file. This case. Okay. So this is how you can change a simply way the configuration of the PyTest. Using the PyTest.ini, you can whatever setting you want to give it here. We'll talk. This is not only this. This is all the settings of the Python configuration. We can change it here. This is one more way. We'll talk about more in the maybe next topic here. Okay. So this is how you. So this is first case how to install the PyTest, how to run it, how to change the configuration of the PyTest. So that instead of the test looking for test, it looks something else like check or anything you can do. Right? Now let's add a failing case here also and let's see how it works. So till now we have, let's remove this thing. So to comment this, you can do like this. So it will not lose this settings. And now I can write one more case here. just to say how it fails. When it fails, then what type of report it generates. Test 1 plus 2. Right? So here, right A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, and C equal to 0. Right? Let's just assert A plus B equal to C. We know it is wrong, right? It should fail. Let's run it. See, it fails. And what I want to show it here, see, here when it fails, it is very clear. Illustrate exactly why it is failing. You will see it is not only giving this statement when it is failed, but it is also showing why it is failed. That is called error introspection. How PyTorch help you to identify where exactly error is and why it is failed. Right? And you will also notice one thing here. It will show the failed test case name here, and also it should show not failed. Let's move on. Otherwise, okay. So you see that how test case pass, how test case fails, how PyTest know which file to execute, what test case execute, how to overwrite that. We have done this part in long, right? And what is the assertion introspection? So when a test case fail any line, it execute, it evaluate that line and tell that where it is failing. Now let's move on the next slide. Second thing is, sometimes we are expecting that it should error, right? But we do not want our test case to fail. This is error handling. Just like other language, in the PyTest also, it provides option to the error handling, right? So what we are doing here, we know that if we divide 1 by 0, it will show some error, correct? But we do not want our test case to fail. We just want to verify, okay, this line should throw that error. We are expecting the error, right? Error comes, one thing you know, runtime error. One thing you know, in this condition, that error should be thrown. You are expecting error, right? So if you are expecting error, then how to test that Python that error is appearing? Let's run this code here. So you will see here, I have written PyTest raises, right? And you can give what error you are expecting. You can put the error, what error you are expecting. Then you can verify the value of this, correct? So we have taken two examples here. In one example, I am dividing 1 by 0 and I am expecting that it should give result by 0 error. Other example, I am raising an creating function and where I am raising an exception. Right? And I'm verifying that whenever this function called, this exception will be thrown. So let's run this case. So it is showing error does not match. Yes, it is showing division by 0. Yes, sir. Division does not match. 4 cases show the error. So it shows one error, other 2 test cases where we are expecting error, now it is passed, right? So this is the weak statement. Whenever you have to verify the error respecting some function or some line, then you always start with the weak statement, because with what it will do, it will make sure that whenever you enter and exceed on the function, it controls both of the things. So it is telling, this statement is telling that whenever this line will get executed, means the function gets started, enter, and once it is complete, it will throw this error. This is the meaning of this line. Okay, so setup, Akash is here, he can help you to do that. So anyone who already have experience in testing, you already use the PyTest? Okay, great. Till now, any question we have, or is it clear? Should move on. Yes.
Is there a naming convention for classes too? For example, if you want to group the test into one class, do we need to have a specific name for the class too? Or is that free to do?
I think you have to use the test underscore their class name as well. Because whenever PyTest use, right, it always look for the test to understand that it is a test case and it has to execute it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I will come there. There is a one Python package which you have to install on Xtest, and using that you can run the parallel. We'll cover all those things. Okay? So this is here. Now let's come to parameterization. Okay. So you know what is the equivalence class? What is the equivalence class in testing? Any idea? So equivalence class in testing is, suppose you have to test anything, maybe a login period, any input field actually. So what is the different combination of data you can enter to verify the similar output? I'm not sure if you understand, right? For example, let's test that, okay? Username, there is a Gmail page, login page. You have to verify the login input button is working fine, is working expected. How you will test it? You will first try to give the username in alphabetic, right? You can try with the numeric value, you can try with the alphanumeric value, you can try with the special characters, correct? You can try the combination of these things. There's a number of ways you can try, correct? But so if you try with the alphanumeric, so it does not matter what alphanumeric you are using, whether A, B, C, D, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, or A, B, or Z, X, Y, then 9, 8, 7, it is going to give the similar output to you, right? So equivalence class means how you are dividing your input and output value in the classes so that each element of that class, if enter, give the similar result. That is called the equivalence class in the terms of testing. Okay? So this is some equivalence classes I have here which we want to test using the PyTest. The equivalence class we want to test, we want to test the multiplication functionality. So for the multiplication functionality, this is the equivalence class generally we use. First is to multiply two positive results to check that what type of output it gives. We also want to test that identify anything by 1, it should be always the same element, right? Correct? we want to test if something multiplied by 0, the output is always 0. We want to multiply positive and negative or multiply, the answer is come negative, right? We could test negative numbers multiplied by negative, let's give the positive number. And we want to verify floating also can be multiplied by integer. So what we are verifying exactly only multiplication. But this is the equivalence class because it tests that this is the way if you are testing, it will does not matter which input you are using, it will always give a similar output. That is why it's called equivalence class. Right? So if we have to test this thing, so there is one way of testing it. I can create 6 cases to verify this thing. Right? I can write one test case, F test 1, then let's do that. I can do it like F test 1. It's one class, right? Where I am verifying 4 assert 4 multiplied by 3 equal to 12, right? I am verifying positive and positive, right? I written here in one case F test underscore 2 here assert I want to verify identity here and any element multiplied by 1 is always the same element, does not change, right? So the 2 test cases I have written here, right? And I can create all the 6 cases like this. So this is one way of writing it. But if you see here, what is the common here? I am only verifying the multiplication. And just what is changing here? Only the parameters, nothing else. Here I am using 4 into 3 verifying 12. Here I am verifying 1 into 12 verifying 12. Only the input are changing. But everything is structure-wise, everything is the same. Correct? So in this way, I just said, do not create a number of cases like this. You can parameterize those. Right? Means you can create only one test structure and then you can pass the value there and it will create all the test case based on the input you have provided. That is called parameterization. Right? So we can test case like this or we can create a parameterized test case in Python like this. So here we are creating a tuple, list of tuples here. Then you will see that this is the operator we say here, and where we are passing the value. You are passing 3 values A, B, product, and this is list we are passing. And we are writing only one test case here, assert A multiplied B verify the product. So now I am writing actually the 5 cases here. let's run this case. Here you are saying. Right here. I don't know.
Well, this you only the
So you will see it is created all the test cases, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead of writing all the test cases one by one, I can create a single test case and I can parameterize it. So that is the benefit of using the PyTest. So how you parameterize? You write the PyTest, mark, parameterize, pass the parameter and pass the list. And then you can use that information, that parameters in the test cases to verify the to do your testing. So to create your test cases, and it will run time. It will create for one line all the element what you're passing. For each line, it will count as one test case, and the report it will show complete report like this. And how many test cases created, what we have passed, the value, and what is the this. Correct. So this is called parameterization in PyTest. So let's go to next to PyTest picture. So I will come back on PyTest picture. I'm not in the code here because I want to show you when we do the unit test cases, right? Then I will show you how the picture being used. Otherwise, I have to create a lot of code here, and I do not really able to follow also. So when we create a test case, so before it will be same what we are passing here. It will be same. Okay, so in the test case, so I do not know if you have ever written a test case, you understand or not. But in the test case, there are three things. First thing is set up the test case. This is called arrange. Means if you are starting a test case, what is the prerequisite of that case? Where you are going to start, how you are going to do that. Second thing is called act, what action you are going to perform. Third thing is called assert, what you are going to verify of that action. So these three things come in any test case you write, right? These three things always comes. So that is what is called arrange, act and assert, right? So that is called triple A. So fixture help us arrange. So understand like this, that I have written 5 test cases, and each test case my first line says that open the browser, right? First line is saying open the browser, all the 6 cases. So this line is repeating every time. That is called arrange. Means here you have to perform this step to do the any further assertion, correct? So that is called arrange part. So this part, instead of writing a test case, we add those lines inside a fixture. Fixture is a very magical thing in the PyTest, and I will show you that how fixture works. So just for understanding here, I am leaving it here only, that how the fixture works. What is the use of fixture? I will talk more about when talk about unit tests. I will show the example here in the fixture. So fixture help us to create the arrange phase. Instead of writing in each test cases, we can write one fixture, and that fixture we can include in all the test cases. So we come back on this. Fixture scope, we can decide the scope either default scope is functional level, but we can define scope at class level, module level, package level, or special level. So we'll come more about this thing. We'll talk about unit test cases. Now we'll talk about PyTest command line options, right? So there is one option called verbose. If you want to get the more detail of the execution report, then you can use this option, verbose. If you want to run silently the PyTest and does not want to print the top banner and name of the test method name and all that, you can use the quiet method here. If you, okay, take example, you have the 10 test cases in a suite. You want, okay, if any test case fail, I do not want to continue. How you will do that? So this is the option PyTest provide, exit first. So if you are using exit first as a parameter, any test case fail, the execution will stop immediately here. It will not execute remaining test cases, right? That is the exit first. If you want to say, okay, not one, but I want to see if out of 100, 3 cases are failing, 5 cases are failing, then only I want to exit, I don't want to continue. Then you can use the max fail parameter, and you can pass the number of failure you are going to accept. If I pass 2, 3, 4, so it will allow to continue test execution till that number of failure comes. If I pass here 3, for example, I pass 3, then moment it uses the 3 test cases failed, it will stop. It will not execute any further test cases. So this is the benefit of using this. And second thing is, this is very important and mostly used. And what is this? Suppose you have integrated your automation with your CI tool, correct? And you want that report should be generated in JUnit XML format so that you can use that report in Jenkins or anywhere else for reporting purpose. So in that case, if you want the report in that format, you can use this option. That is -- JUnit XML report XML. So it will create a report XML which will be in the JUnit format. So let's see. I'm not running all, but let's use this one because this is something important. So I can run the here. This was executed, and you will see here should generate a report. Yeah, this is a report, XML. So we generate a report in XML format of the JUnit, and so that you can import this report anywhere in the database or any Jenkins somewhere for creating the reports, right? So in this way you can create the reports. So this is how PyDelhi helps you to create different type of integrations. It will come more clear. This is a very simple example. PyDelhi is very complicated. I'm telling you. Even in one session is very small to talk about all the PyDelhi feature. We talk about all the basic ones.
Is XML the only report format to it?
We can create the HTML report also.
What is the default? And if you don't give exit first, how will it do that?
It will fail after one test case. It will continue, sorry. It will continue all the test cases. It will not stop. If you have 10 test cases, every test case fail also, it will continue. It will run everything. So this is commanded option. Now there are some more filtering test cases. That is very much important. So suppose you have a test directory and you have so many files, but you want to run only one particular file using the command line. How you can run it? You can run PyTest, give the test directory name, and it will run all the files of that test directory. If you want to run only particular one file name, you can pass the test directory -test that file name only. It will run only that file test cases. It will not run any other test cases. If you want to run a particular test case inside that file, then you can pass the colon and give the name of that test case. Then inside that file, it will run only that case. It will not run any other test case. If you want to run, suppose you have 10 files, right? And in 10 files, you want to run all the test cases which have some substring, like one here. So you can pass the -k parameter, pass the value here. It will run it will search. It will do search on the directory, all the files, all the test cases, and it will run only the test cases which name include the word one. It will remove everything else. It will not run anything else. If you want to run, you can also provide some here query type also. Like I want to run one. If I want to run all the test cases which have the word one but do not have the word two. Correct? So you can write one and not two. So it will know if a test case have the name one and two both, it will not run. It will run only the test case which have the one. Right? So and similarly like you can pass the or and you can put the condition here. So it helps you to run the filter at the runtime. You can create the filter and you know that what test case you want to execute. Because I'm telling you, when we in a real-time scenario we have thousands of cases, 10,000 cases, 50,000 cases when we go for the releases, right? So in that case, if you try to run everything, you do not know. So in that case, when you write the test cases, we write like this. Okay, this is an important case, right? In the word important, or I given the name of module in the test case name itself, so that I know when I'm going to run those cases, what keyword I have to use, how I have to execute, make sure that only those cases are executed. Otherwise, you have to go and select manually each and case one by one, which is not possible, right? So, and second better way of doing it, this is the one thing. Second better way of doing it is use the mark. PyTest provide an option called PyTest mark, right? Here you can tag your test cases. So if you tag your test cases like this, then you can run the command like PyTest m and the tag name. It will run only the test cases which are tagged like this, right? So for example here I am written here PyTest mark math test 1 plus 1 and assert 1 plus 1 2, correct? So I am marking as a math. So if I will write this line, it will run only that case is marked like this. Let's do that. To mark, whenever you create a new mark, what you have to do, how PyTest will know that this is acceptable? You have to go to pytest.py. You have to write a mark here, and whatever mark you have provided, like I am adding one mark math, correct? So I will write a math here. So PyTest will know that there are some mark being added with the math keyword. And now it will allow me to use the math keyword to filter those cases at the runtime, right? So here the mark is set. Now if I want to run those cases, one passed, it will run only that case and other are disliked. Means other all test cases are not being considered for this, right? So like this you can mark all the test cases which you want to execute. Yeah, please.
That is a
Want. Like if I want to scales and more, I can give any number of keywords. So all the keyword is accept. And whatever keyword name you provide the runtime here. Whatever keyword name you are going to provide runtime in here, it will execute it. Any question here? Let's move on. So this is the basic of PyTest. Now we will move to unit test and other things. Okay, PyTest plugin. This is also important. So this is your question you are asking, like how to run in the parallel. So I want to run both cases. So this is the plugin called Xtest, which allow you, if you install it, then you can write PyTest and you can give this is the thread, how many threads you want to run. It will create those number of threads and execute all the tests in those threads. It will distribute it. That's what it do. If you want to know, if you want to generate an HTML report, then you can use PyTest. You have to install this particular package, PyTest-HTML. And you can run this one and you will generate a report. Let's do that. Let's generate a HTML report now. for this you have to install this package. And then you can run like this. Right, this is done, and it should generate the HTML report. Where it is. This is HTML report here. You can see. You can open in the browser. You can see this report will come like this. It will show all the test case name here, what test case is executing, what test case fails, that information is here, right? All the past test case information is here, how much time it took to execute, all this information is captured here. So this is how you can generate a HTML report from the PyTest. Let's move on now. Okay, so this is basic of PyTest. Yeah, please.
Is this HTML report responsive? Responsive. Can I click on check boxes whether I need to move on to test or fail?
You can do like this.
Is there any ratio in the number of tests that we require and the number of tests?
You have to check it. I'm not sure. Okay, let's move on. So here we talk about unit testing, and there we talk about the fixture, right? If we left the fixture that time, we will not talk about. Now I will talk about the fixture and show that how the fixture is used. So if you want to do this size, then I have a repo already created. I can give the link of that repo, and you can just use download it if you want to practice. Otherwise, I can explain it here. It's up to you. So if you want to download, this is a repo. You can go and download it, right? And it has an example of a unit cases and integration, and you can use that for your purpose. So let me open this project. So let's first understand the unit example here. So you see it here. Okay, there are two examples, but I am taking the complex one so that you understand how the PyTest in real time get created unit cases and how to use it. Okay. So here you will see I have created a class. This class have this file have two classes. One is tabular DB, which is replicating the database. Right? It is giving initialize the database, connect, get the tabular membership. So there is a method which will give all the just you can assume that assume that it is a real database, and whenever you call this method, it give you the whatever value pass, it provide you some value. Right? If I am passing the tabular name is Sachin, then it is returning true to me. Correct? From the database. You can assume it, right? If I am passing name of Virat, it is passing 1.5, correct? Or for everyone else, it is giving 1. This is a method written in the class DB, right? And there is one more class written plain here, where I have initialized this with this is the maximum capacity of the plane, how many seats are available, how many bookings we can have. Then what is the price, what is the unit price for each of the ticket, and then the tabular list. How many tabular name there? So I am taking a tabular list here. So and there is some method in that class like add tabular. Tabular you are adding. This is the method written here, and I am verifying it. If it is a max is reached, in that case it should not allow to book you anymore, right? And it is returning the name of the tabular here. This is a tabular list method, right? And it is calculating the price. Suppose I have the the capacity, and everybody is sitting there. What is the price will come? So for the price calculation, there is some calculation being implemented here, right? That if database name, if name is, suppose name is Sachin, for him the price is off. We are giving some discount, correct? So that's why you see it is written in the value membership. It is a 2, and I am dividing it here by 2. So whatever price is here for the Sachin, it will be half. You can see it, right? And for Virat, it will divide by 1.5. For everyone else, there is no change in the price. Correct? So this is a simple class is written, and now I want to make sure that all these methods are correct, working as expected. How will make sure? There is one way of it that you first deploy the application and will go to the UI and test this is working as expected, right? It is the one way. Second way of is unit testing, which will test each of these functions before go for the deployment. Even a developer can test these things that all this method here is working as expected or not. What is the output expected, right? If I am passing the parameter as some parameter, then what is the expected output of each of these methods? So unit testing says that test each method of the class, correct? I will come later there how unit or how you can know if this is very small method, right? Very small class, very small method. You can go and check the coverage is 100% cover or not. But assume in the real time scenario where you have so many classes, so many methods, so many conditions, how you will know that this coverage is complete or not? Do I have covered all the unit tests or not? Or this is some area which is still not being tested, right? So this is where PyDelhi help you with the one package called coverage, which when you execute, it will tell you how many method got covered in your test cases, how many statement got covered, how many if its condition being covered. It tells and gives a complete report to you that you can know, okay, this particular module, what is my coverage of cases. Right? In generally, we go for the 90% plus. The coverage is a good coverage actually. 100% is I haven't seen it, but 90% plus is really good enough, right? For the unit case I'm talking about. So let's see that how unit test, how we can write the unit cases for this. So there is a one file which I have written here to test it. So, okay, one more thing before we go here. Let's see. This is the database. So, you see this method is depend on some other class. Correct? But unit case maybe here is fine because in both in same class and you can access it. But assume you have different services. In that case, without deploy, how you will do that? Because you will not be able to access it, right? So, in that case, there is a concept called mocking. Means you can mock the data. You do not need to give the real data, but you know that what it is expecting, what type of input it can come. You can mock that. This is called mocking concept in unit testing. So mocking concept is very important. So that is the intentionally I have written this so that I can show how the mocking works in unit cases. Right? How you can mock something to run the test cases. So let's go here. So I am here. This is the picture. Let's understand the picture first. So here picture, what I am doing it here, I am creating a plain class object, right? And I am initializing it 5 and 10. What is the 5 here? 5 is the capacity. This is the max we have set here. That maximum 5 people can come. 10 is the price. That for each ticket I am saying 10 rupees the price. Right? Now I am initializing with I am adding the 3 members already in this plane. The 3 members already boarded, Sachin, Virat, Dhoni, right? So these people are already boarded. Now I am creating one more instance of different class, that is the Taylor TV, and creating it here. You will see the word end and you will see the here. I will explain it. So what is the fixture? Fixture, I told you that what common code we have, right? The staging part. You can write that part inside the fixture instead of repeating those parts inside the every test case. Correct? So because if I have to test anything, I need to do this thing. I need to do this thing. Right? Without this, I cannot create, and I cannot verify any test case. Correct? If if I have to verify any method, first I have to create the instance of that method, that class, right? So this will be repeating everywhere. So instead of repeating it everywhere, I can write this thing inside the fixture. I can donate it like this PyTest and dot fixture. So PyTest knows, okay, this is a fixture. It means it has to be executed. Correct? Now you will see that each fixture return a element. So here we are returning the two instances. Here one instance is this, second instance is this. So how to know that which instance we're interacting with? That's how you can use 0 and 1. So it uses the indexing part, right? So if I have to use this one, I will use the 0. If I have to use this one, I will use the 1 index. Correct? But two instances are getting, so two indexes here, 0 and 1. We can utilize this for getting it. This is yield, plain D closed. Whatever you will write yield as a yield, after that whatever you will statement you will write, that statement will get executed when your test case is finished. Correct? So that is a fixture. Fixture has the two parts here. You can see this part and after the yield part. This part will get executed before the test case. This part will get executed before the test case is completed. Yes. Yeah, I will share. This is the repository. How to tell that fixture, how to use that fixture in this case? To use that fixture, you have to call the fixture name as it is. The fixture name is a app test, right? So I have to use this fixture, I have to call this fixture function name here. So it means this test case now knows, PyTest knows that I have to run this fixture. Clear? Right? So now see, I am calling this directly app test.0 as tabular. App test.0, what it will do? This is a fixture, right, which is returning two elements here, two instances, one of this and one of this. Correct? So app test 0 means I am talking about this. Correct? So I am calling this class, this instance, and calling a method app table copy. Right? You can see what is this? This is the add method I am calling here. Add table. This method I am calling. Right? And I am counting that because we have already initiated with the three people already sitting there. Now we added 4. So we should, what it should be? The count should be 4 now. So that's what I am verifying to make sure that this method is working as expected. Correct? Adding means if I am adding someone, the count should increase by 1. That's what I am verifying. Right? Let's go for the second. Now we have the 4 person. Correct? What will happen? Not 4. Different test case. Every test case is independent. Okay. Now we are adding one more tabular here, Rohit, and I'm verifying in the list. See, there is one more method we have written here, which gives the list of the tabular. This is the get tabular list. I want to make sure that this is also working. Right? How to make sure this is working? I can make sure that I am calling new Rohit. And I am verifying asserting Rohit in this list. Whatever list is coming, this Rohit is getting added in that list. Right? If it is there, this means it is working. Correct? Now I am verifying that, okay, this is maximum capacity is 5. You see here, in this method add, I have an option here, I am giving condition here. If it is max reached, overflow. And give the message that flight have no vacancies. Correct? This is what we want to verify. So, and I want to verify this particular condition here. Then this condition is working as expected. How to verify this thing? I have written here. I am first taking the 2. There are 3 already. I am already taking 2 more with the same name Saurabh. Now, if I will add one more Saurabh, it will give the error, overflow error. This is what I am verifying. So, this is an expected inspection. Right? I expecting the exception to occur. So I've shown the PyTest that how to verify if exception is already you are expecting to occur. You can use the with PyTest raises and you give the exception name. Correct? So now once it should throw that exception. If it is not true, then test it will fail. If it is true, test it will pass. Right? Now I am verifying some calculation here that okay, this is our calculation. There are 3 people. Calculation will 20.1. You can write it, calculate it. And now this calculation is happening with the database without mocking. I'm not mocking anything. Right? It is calling the database, it is giving the value, and this is giving the value. Now I want to mock. I do not want to tell that test case go and call some other API or some integration to call that class, right? I want to mock that data. How I can do it? There is a library called PyTest mock. You can import it, and after that you can do like this: mock return value 1. So mock return value 1. So now it does not matter who is there. It will always return 1. Correct? So because it will always return 1, there are 3 people. What the value will be? 30. You can see the difference here. Here I am using without mocking, right? So it is using the real data. Real data for the 3 people which I use. So data will be like 21.7 because I have Virat to 1.75 divide 2 and for Sachin 2, right? But here I am not using any data from the database. I am just telling that okay, just test this method. Do not use the database library. How I can do? Use a mock here, and now I am getting the value 1 for everyone, no matter who you are. Because I am not connecting the database. Now it will verify for 3 people are there, the value will be 30. Correct? Now I want to mock like the database. I am not calling the real database method, but I am mocking that method itself here. So I can give like this, def mock member. Here I can pass that value, and I can pass like this. Mock side effect equal to mock member. So it will call this method. Now it will not call that method within that class. It will call this method for the mocking. Right? And it will generate the data. Now because I am giving the same value as here, 2.1.5, so it will again give the value of 21.6. Correct? This is how we write the test cases in unit case. Let me run it. You will see all the systems pass. You see that how fast it is. If you have to test the same thing on the UI, that's why in the first slide I showed you the execution unit level is fast. Execution UI level is slow. So it is only a second step and verify that okay, your class is correct. It's working as well. Got it? So that is the benefit of having the unit cases. Now I want to know the coverage. How to do the coverage? How to make sure that okay, all the classes being covered, all the methods being covered, all the if-else condition being covered in the cases. How to know that? It is not possible that somebody go and check that verify manually. So this is where we get a package plugin PyTest Conf. Right? Let's try that one. This is the plugin you can install. Install. But you can install if you want to. And then you can write the command like to pass, because coverage is always for the class, what method you have, right? Not about the test cases. So you will pass the directory name here. CLASSES. Now I want to create a coverage. You will see, it will give all the name of the files which are there, all the statements, how many statements are there, how many statements are missing, how many excluded, and how many executed. So it is 68%. So it shows that 68 statements are there which are covered. These are the statements are listed. So like this you can cover all the PyTest coverage part, you can get it. And this is how we get the coverage, that how much unit cases we are covering. Okay, so this is about the unit cases. Now let's talk a little bit about integration. So integration for this, let's talk about so these are the some, this is for this, I'm taking this one. So this is some APIs, right? Okay. This is some APIs. We want to test those APIs, right? So how to test those APIs? APIs are working fine or not. So let's do that here. For this, I have created, and for this you need a package called request. Okay, you have to install a package called request here, and after that, I have created a class for task utility, and where I am creating a something. This is the method which is creating a payload for you, so that when I am taking a task, I can give my payload to create some task, right? This is the method of creating the payload. This is the method to update the payload. This is the method to get, and this is to list, and this is to delete. So there are 4 or 5 methods which you really need to verify those test cases. So now how to test this? So these are test cases again here. I am importing the task utility here. Then I am taking a payload here by using the task payload method. Then I am taking the response here, taking this payload, taking the task which is calling that payload, taking the response here, and verifying the response rate should be 200. This is the first thing I am verifying, that is successful. Second thing I am verifying that JSON, that what the JSON is returning is correct or not, right? So I am verifying here JSON, I am capturing the JSON here, verifying the response code, and this is the JSON I am capturing here, and I am verifying the fetch data, whatever data is returned, the JSON, and the payload JSON, those should be same, it should not be different, correct? So that is how I am verifying first method of create. Second method update, I am calling I am creating a new payload here, and I am verifying it after updating, it is getting the value of new payload. Just for the same and this is for the create list task. Okay, so okay, let's run it. I don't have time, so for the UI you can use the playwright. So actually we don't have time, so I can give the report to you. So at least you can go and check it if you want. So these are reports you can utilize. For the integration testing, the same example discussed, you can go this example and you can make it here. For the playwright, this is for the UI testing. How to do UI testing? So this is I have done it on the playwright. So you can clone this report. It has an example of how to use the playwright for your application, web application testing using the PyTest. And then there is a very important example here, test reporting. So I am reporting using the allure. So till now I created the HTML report, right? You can also create the allure. Allure is the reporting tool, right? You can create the report allure. Or there is the one tool that's called test rail. If you have heard about test rail. So test rail is the most utilized tool in terms of test management. So it gives me the chance to create all the test cases, create the test report, create the test plans, assign the resources for those to execute. This complete test management is done here. So I have created a small demo here how to integrate the PyTest with test trail. So anything you are going to execute, all the report will automatically go inside the PyTest. So let's run this example only so that you can understand. Just 1 minute. Example you can see. So this was very complex example. I have used PyTest feature in fullest. This is called hooks, right? So I have shown here. I wanted to show here how the hooks being used. When you go advanced in the PyTest, you want to change the nature of the PyTest. Currently, what you do when you are running any PyTest test case, first it will execute, set up the things, then execute, and then report. 3 things happen, right? So if I want to do something, the setup, before setup I want to do setup, what it do? In the setup, what exactly do? In the hook, it will go and read all the test cases there, it will collect it. That's why the report it shows number of items collecting. If you run the PyTest, it shows the collecting, right? Means it collect the number of test cases need to be executed. I have written here code here which can modify the correct, right? Where this is the hook I have written, which tells only collect the test cases which have the test trail markup. Otherwise, don't execute them. That is called hook. Similarly, I have created a hook here which tell it that when the test is executed, where to send the report. By default, it shows only on terminal, right? Or in the stable report. But if I want to tell something, okay, instead of this, post this all the reports in the test trail, so I can modify that. So this is where I have modified that hook and send all the reports in that test trail. Okay, so you can let me run these cases. Just for 1 minute. So this is and then this is the test cases where I am telling this is test case ID, what test case after test trail I want to execute. So once I will execute, it will run these cases and send the report in the test trail. So let's me open the test trail also, so that you can see. Just 1 minute. This is a test trail I have created. You can use it actually for 14 days. It is free. So if you want to do something, you can try that. It's already open. So you have the yesterday I just created this example and make sure it's running. So you see that when I execute it, create the report here, right? And it's complete coverage. How many cases are passed with. So in the industry, this is how we do. We do not go and ask for someone to do the report. This is a test trail. Every test case is executed here. All the reports are coming here. As a manager, I will just open this report and I can see how my build is doing. Even I can integrate, CI/CD tool, right? So I will integrate it, and whenever any integration happens, any build comes, automatically all the unit cases executed, all the integration executed, and I get the report generated. So I can see okay how my build is doing. So this is how we control the quality of the builds, right? So just run it here. Pass. If you see here now, it will generate one more external instance. It is generated now. This one is generated just now, and you can see the result. Correct? So this is how you can change the behavior of PyTest. You can write your own code to control the setup and the execution part. So yeah, that's all I think from my side. Thank you. All the reports are here. You can take it and you can practice it. I think it definitely helps you. Thank you.
Please give a huge round of applause for Dr. Shailendra Pratap Singh. We would like to thank Dr. Shalendra Pratap Singh for giving us an amazing hands-on experience, and as a token of appreciation, we would like to present this memento to